Hey everyone, welcome back to Drama or Hum. I'm Aisha from Lahore, Pakistan.
Hi, Mariam from Mumbai, India.
We're fasting, so obviously, we excuse if we don't have the same level of energy today. Also, let us know, do you think Nashwa and Nashwa and Ammar are already married or not? And if not, then what do you think is at play? What was that deal all about? Let us know in the comments below. But let's get straight into the dramas then. We have Faraar, Qarz-e-Jaan, and Meem Se Mohabbat with you, and we'll start off with Faraar. Mariam, your thoughts on Faraar?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the episode. I think it was a lot of fun to watch. I like the whole, finally, to your relief, they are going to meet at some point. But I
Yeah.
like the whole intersection where Buggy, Faraz, and no, Batish, एक तो सबके नाम सिमिलर सिमिलर है,
हाँ.
कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं. वो तीन एक तरफ ऐसे जा रहे हैं और वो दोनों कार में आ रहे हैं, and then I love the fact that the police come and arrest the two of them at the scene. I think
Yeah.
the whole direction of them coming and those people going and the music in
Yeah.
the ground, एकदम बेचारे होके they
हाँ.
sit in the car.
जमान साहब मैं खुद एक पुलिस वाला देखिए ये थोड़ा मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग हो रही है इस वक्त
I thought that was really well done. They did that really well. And I love
Yeah.
how those two brothers are always at the intersection of
Yeah.
those conversations. I think I had a lot of fun watching this episode. Even the whole Babrik section was very good.
Hmm.
The way he discovers his fiance at the back and they explain the background and Bosa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to complain at all. I mean, not that we are sitting
Yeah.
here to complain, but I'm saying that I really enjoyed it. I
Hmm.
thought it was all very good.
हाँ.
Everyone acted. I like the whole. I'm very. I'm getting fond of Batish Faraz duo, where
Hmm.
Batish reacts certain way, and Faraz is always bichara looking bechara only,
Yeah.
and trying to
Yeah.
come to the situation. Like their, I think chemistry is also very
Their
good.
chemistry is working, huh? I
Uh,
think, huh? I think that now finally, although it is still heavy, right? The drama is still heavy, the drama is still intense, or topics वगैरह वही है, but suddenly there is like a spring in the
step
drama
back.
now.
Yeah,
Ha ha.
yeah,
There is like the pace, the background score, the story is moving faster.
yeah,
The interactions are not necessarily meant to be funny,
yeah,
but there's also, they're bringing in an element of humor as well.
yeah,
For I think काफी सारी episodes में ना एकदम से uh, थोड़ा सा इतना serious था कि it was just there was no respite. Intensity में respite आता था, but it wasn't like, I wouldn't say like, there are like any funny moments or humorous moments in the drama. But in this one, I really enjoyed. And like as you're saying, the intersections were really, it was, you almost like kind of smile when that happens. You're like, ah, okay, now, okay, that
right,
has happened.
yeah.
Yeah, my favorite, um, I mean, one of my favorite sequences was Fasi being arrested, because I was feeling so bad for him. I was like, यार ये बंदा कुछ सही से नहीं कर सकता. सोचो, 2 रातें बेचारा जाग के वहां झंडियाला पहुंचा है with Mohsin Bey. इतना style मार के, they do like that 3, 2, 1, and they
Jump
that was
forward.
very well executed and all.
वन टू
That, and I was just like, गए फिर से गए.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think I mean, now actually, I feel like finally the direction and the writing are matching.
हाँ.
I felt like the writer was writing it with a certain pace and dramatization, but I felt like the editing and the direction was not kind of, or
Hmm.
either or. You can't blame one or the other.
Yeah.
I feel like now it feels like they're in sync, and there
Yeah.
is like this whole. You can feel the synergy of
Hmm.
everyone coming together.
Yeah.
And you can feel when it's done well, you can see it. And
Yeah.
this episode you could see, and as you said, you can't tell what they didn't do anything really differently from any
Yeah.
other episode, but it just felt more alive. It
हाँ.
felt you were like, yeah,
More
excited.
dynamic, like
Yeah,
हर
you
चीज
were
में
more
कुछ ना कुछ हो
dynamic.
रहा है, हाँ, कुछ ना
It was
कुछ हो
more
रहा है.
dynamic. Yeah.
Exactly. And things were moving faster. वो जो links थे वो tie up हो रहे थे. Buggy goes to see that friend. I thought before we get to that, like that scene was very interesting where Batish says कि क्या जमाना आ गया है, अब औरत के पीछे चलना
लड़की.
पड़ेगा.
हाँ.
And she turns around and she gives it back to him. So their chemistry I'm really
Yeah.
enjoying.
क्या जमाना आ गया यार, औरत के पीछे चलना पड़ रहा है.
इसलिए जब तक साथ हैं, ये औरत मर्द का कांटा अपने दिमाग से निकाल दो.
Yeah.
That they have that to and fro. And then she goes to meet that friend, and that वो जो क्या नाम था, शौकी नहीं, क्या नाम था उसका, Shakura is that same person. उसको the brothers reach out to him. He goes and he's like, तो मेरे घर में ही बैठी हुई है. So he keeps those two brothers outside while what they need is inside. I also enjoyed that last scene with the brothers where they're trying to pick on Batish and Faraar without knowing
Yeah.
कि किससे mess up कर रहे हैं.
Yeah. I mean, both sides are
हाँ.
equally violent, right? So Usama के brothers बहुत बेचारे हैं और वो दोनों
हाँ.
भी equally ये है. Obviously, I don't know why they started with that mother bahu scene. वो तो not needed only,
हाँ.
those two are not needed only in this
हाँ.
whole episode. वैसे ऐसे token scene डाल दिया था. Actually, the mother is not needed only in the show. If she was not there also, it would not made any difference to the show.
Yeah, it wouldn't have, but that's why I think कि कोई ना कोई, because फंसी की story में अब तो वो arrest हो गए. So I I do think the mother, like I've said this before, that I think there will be something that happens to the mother or something, because what's
Yeah.
the point of her otherwise?
What's the point? Yeah.
Like there is no point. Similarly with that, she wasn't in this episode, but that nurse, जो फराज की बीवी है, again, like they've shown it, but he does say,
फोन लगाएगा वो, अभी उसको फोन लगाएगा, अभी सैटेलाइट
हाँ,
फोन आएगा ना इसके पास, तो उसको फोन लगाएगा अभी
वो भी लगाएगा. Then Batish says कि I'm sending you back to Karachi. And Faraz is like, नहीं, I don't like, अब तो मैं, I'm sure like मैं तुम्हारे साथ on the road ही हूँ, I'm not really like going back. So it'd be interesting to see if he even tries that or not.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that nurse thing will come into play at some point.
भगाओ सबको भगाओ.
भगाओ सबको भगाओ.
Yeah.
Which is like I wonder कि कितने episodes रह गए हैं, because there's still a few things to be done, and I wonder if like they're gonna like
Yeah, I
till what
wonder what
extent.
the end is of this. I'm very interested
हाँ.
to see what are they going to do. Like, who's going to win? Which side is
Yeah.
going to like take over the other?
हाँ.
So yeah, I'm interested now. अभी pace बढ़ रहा है ना, so I don't even mind कि चला पहले हमें दो episode चाहिए थे. Now with this pace, it's interesting enough to keep you engaged. And obviously you want to know what happens next, but if there's not much more episodes, then you don't mind it happening once a week either.
Yeah, once a week, and then also it'd be interesting to see what the pinnacle of the story is. Like, what is it? Like, is it like a showdown between everybody? Is it like are they going to show the whole thing of like good? वैसे तो कोई good है नहीं. Everybody is great
Great.
in this. So what is going to be like the writers or the directors' point of view as to what they have shown us in all of this. So I think वो हाँ, वो सब कुछ interesting होगा. Plus, I'm now looking forward to learning more about, like, I mean, we know her backstory, buggy की या क्या, but I want her to take like a bigger role.
हाँ, और वो वीडियो में है क्या? वो कैसेट में
Exactly.
है क्या?
Exactly. So I do hope कि as the story progresses, हमें जो वो सारी बाकी की चीजें, हमें उसकी backstory मिले. Plus, one thing that we don't know yet is how Batish, like why Batish got into all of this. Like थोड़ा सा दिखाया था वो जो स्कूल वाला सीन था where he's not good at studies या क्या, but हमें वैसे बातिश की कोई स्टोरी नहीं पता. Like उसकी कोई फैमिली है नहीं है, Like we don't know anything more
I
about
don't
him.
think they're going to do any of that. I think now it's going to be more about either there's two dynamics, right? Either
Huh.
he'll help Buggy, obviously he'll help her escape these people, and then he will know her story and kind
Huh.
of that will develop into like a bond. And then probably at some point Mohsin Beg and Buggy will kind of and Fussy
Huh.
will collide. And then
Huh.
that kind of tube light moment that actually we're all on the same side, and then somehow something.
Hmm.
So it'll be
Hmm.
interesting, and probably then that Shah Sam and the Lahore people will kind of
Intersect with
combine,
every. Huh.
combine because they are both in politics, right? So kuch to wahan.
Huh.
So yeah, interesting. Let's see क्या
I
होता है.
have to also say that, शुरू में, because Hamza Ali Abbasi has such strong screen presence,
Hmm.
I did think that, because he's in the story, that he will just kind of like outshine and overshadow everybody.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
So while he has that strong screen presence, like, even वो जो मोहसिन बेग, वो थोड़े से scenes के लिए आता है, ठीक है? But he still has that gravitas.
Yeah.
He holds like the screen and your attention.
Hmm.
Similarly with the other people as well, like they've done a really good job in how they've shown Hamza's character,
Hmm.
or how much they've shown of his character, because it could have been very easy for Hamza as an actor to overshadow
Hmm.
everybody else with the screen presence.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I also enjoy the fact that they are making no bones about showing Hamza in a certain light. Matlab, yes, they showed, बीच में थोड़ा सा उसका कि okay, he's in love and all of that,
Hmm.
but the way he killed the friend, for example,
Hmm.
Bali ko, like
Hmm.
that was like, cold, like I wouldn't say
Cold blood.
cold-blooded, but it was like with the intention of killing somebody.
हाँ ऐसे नहीं कि
Why?
उसको अटैक किया है वो सो रहा है तो इट्स नॉट
हाँ,
लाइक
हाँ.
दैट
Like
या
ऐसा, हाँ, बहुत premeditate, like, he knows what he wants and he's not going to cut any corners in that. मतलब अगर उसको किसी को मारना पड़े वो कर लेगा, अगर उसको किसी को मतलब ट्रिक भी करना पड़े वो कर लेगा. So I like the fact कि he is in a sense the main protagonist, but he's not overly whitewashed in any which way.
No, yeah, of course not.
हाँ,
Like they of course try to justify his action by saying वो तुम्हें मार देता है या कुछ भी, but in
हाँ,
reality, ultimately he is a criminal, right? Whatever said and
yeah.
done, तो कुछ you can't ignore that fact.
You
Like
can't, हाँ,
so वो
and
तो
they
है,
remind you of that. They remind you of that. मतलब
वो
कभी
तो
ऐसा
है.
नहीं होगा कि you're never like looking at Batish and saying, "Hi, बेचारा, I wish उसके साथ ये like ना हो, या I
उनको भी
wish कि
तो
उसके साथ."
फराज पे तरस नहीं आ रहा है तो बातिश पे कहाँ है?
Exactly. फराज से भी नहीं आ रहा.
वो तो फंस गए इस सब में unnecessarily.
Unnecessarily, completely. And then Babrik and Jale's scene also. I like that. मुझे तो
Yeah.
शुरू में लग रहा था कि जो बबरे का फ्रेंड है ना, कि कहीं ये भी तो नहीं मिला हुआ या क्या, because of the way he was reacting to Babrik. He looked like overly worried when Babrik was talking and all of that. When Babrik was saying कि अच्छा चलो
हम्म.
ये, and he looked overly worried. तो मैंने कहा यार, कहीं ये तो नहीं मिला हुआ, अब ये इसी ने तो नहीं कहीं मारना मुड़ना इस बंदे को.
अच्छा नहीं
Um,
नहीं, oh yeah, no.
हाँ, हाँ, हाँ.
I
And
understood that he knows that she's there in the
हाँ, पता
chapter.
नहीं क्यों जब मैंने वो देखा था ना टीजर, तो आई वाज थिंकिंग कि वो किसी और मतलब ट्रक में या किसी चीज में आई है वहां तक.
अच्छा.
So for me, like that was really interesting when it emerged कि जब उसको कि वो जो खाने पराठे वगैरह हैं, वो सारे उसको दे
Yeah,
रहा था खाने को,
yeah,
उसको
yeah,
छुपा के.
yeah.
um
But that was good. Let's see where that goes. Whether they go back or whether she continues the journey with him. Like how they deal with that situation.
हाँ, क्योंकि अब
हाँ.
वो भी तो बात है ना कि उसके तो पीछे वो दो छोटे भाई और वो बाप भी तो है, like how they have like painstakingly told us over and over again. तो it'd be interesting कि अगर वो इस सब के बावजूद he says कि नहीं नहीं, let's continue on this journey now.
हम्म.
कि अब मैं खुद आपसे तो कह आया हूँ, तो अब मैं मतलब
चलो.
अब like, future is something else now. But नहीं, overall enjoyable episode, मजा आया.
Yeah, मजा आया.
हाँ,
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
हाँ.
Okay. Should we move on to Qarz-e-Jaan?
We can. Oh my God, it made me so sad.
Why?
Qarz-e-Jaan. Like, it was just like, because I think I know now. Like, okay,
No, I don't
so
want to
I
know.
think, yeah. No, but don't you think, like, अब मैंने जितने भी सारे scenes देखे हैं, ठीक है, this whole 2 episodes as a whole, right? And I'll come like we'll come to the scenes in a bit, but
Mhm.
overall, like it does now feel that Bichari Nashwa jo hai, she has now sacrificed her own thing for the mother. I think it's quite evident in the way like the Ammar scenes are, in the way she's acting with everybody else.
Mm.
And there's a shift in Yumna's body language, in
Yeah,
Nashwa's body language.
yeah.
Her eyes, like like there is like there is that thing now.
She's
You know,
deflated inside.
हाँ.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and मुझे लग रहा है कि I was messaging you कि I think कि ये हो गया, but I think कि Nashwa and Ammar are already married now, कि
वो
उनका निकाह
कमेंट्स
करवा
में भी
दिया.
आया ना, लोग आर कमेंटिंग आल्सो दैट देयर इज अ पार्ट
हाँ.
वेयर शी इज मिसिंग एंड उनका निकाह पढ़ा दिया, ये वो.
Ha. I do think that has happened because even the way that Ammar entered her room, like कभी ऐसे नहीं दिखाया कि he was
Hmm.
just coming into the room,
Yeah.
and the way he's talking to her, the way
Hmm.
he talks to himself in the mirror, and even the teaser, the way he's speaking to her, it's very much like the energy between them has shifted.
Yeah, and that's was one scene where I was like, why did they show the scene where he's coming to her and then he goes and talks to himself in the mirror? I was like, why was that
Yeah.
scene needed? But then I guess they're trying to show that now there's some kind of dynamic where he kind of feels authority
Hmm.
over her, or at least she feels a bit more obligated towards him more than he feeling an authority.
यहाँ क्या कर रहे हो?
क्रिकेट खेल रहा हूँ, नजर नहीं आ रहा.
But like I felt like last two episodes, not ye though, the previous weekend, the intensity was so high, right? Like there was like
Yeah.
multiple conversations, like layering and layering, and people
हाँ.
are like, some plotting is going on. This two episodes felt a bit more like thoda, not calmer, but more subdued in that sense. It didn't feel that intense in
It felt
terms
like
of
a bit like the aftermath of the last two episodes.
both the episodes were amazing. The writing is so beautiful. Like all the conversations are so amazing. Like especially the conversation between Burhan and Faryal, and then Faryal and her mom. Like
Hmm.
you don't see these conversations in at least Pakistani dramas, right?
You
Like,
don't.
you don't see these
Huh.
conversations. Conversation would have actually been what Faryal tells Burhan, like Burhan would have told his father or Dadi कि नहीं करनी, and they would have told.
Exactly.
वो होता.
Exactly.
But this, I
Huh.
love the acting as well of Faryal, where she's like, you can see the pain, but
Huh.
she's trying to be
Like,
very
yeah.
controlled and mature about it. Like that whole scene, I really loved.
Huh.
Even Usama's acting has just gone up like notches in the
Yeah.
last
Yeah. Like his
few
confidence
episodes.
is like here now.
Yeah, you can see
It's
that he's not awkward acting. Like I
yeah.
think the first two episodes and few episodes, you were like, he didn't know how to act, in the sense that he didn't feel like he owned his role. I
Yeah.
feel like now he is owning his role and he's kind of like really playing it. And even in that scene on the terrace with Nashwa, like really, really, really nice scene. Like he acts so well.
Yeah. And you
Um,
can tell, like, now Burhan has like Osama has settled into the Burhan character.
yeah, huh,
There are some things that he does, that
correct.
are Burhan things to do. Like,
Hmm,
whether that is, just say he like even body language wise, like
hmm.
when he wants to make a point, he'll always
He
like move
leads in.
forward. The
Yeah.
way he's using his space around him.
Hmm,
And the dialogues as well. Like I did make a note about like the Faryal scene because exactly we never see is tarah ka direct scene between two
hmm,
people.
hmm.
And my like I was a little bit sad for Faryal as well because the way she says, she's accepting and she's saying yes, I understand all of that. But beach mein se every few
Huh.
dialogues,
Sentences. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
she does say कि हाँ, but and then she corrects herself like
शायद उसी के लिए तुम वो फीलिंग्स रखते हो जो शादी के लिए जरूरी होती हैं.
I love that she's actively regulating her own
Yeah,
emotions and what is coming out of her mouth in
yeah.
that scene. Um,
But
and
what
and and
normal hair, right? Where you are like being very brave and you're like, yeah, it's okay. You
yeah,
can tell me. You can tell me. And the moment you
yeah,
hear something which you don't want, you do
yeah,
feel a bit like, "Arey, why did I ask
yeah,
for this? You know?" And that's
yeah,
her normal. वो बहुत अच्छा. Like I really like that scene,
yeah. Even I thought like the mother reacted a bit more.
which is good.
Which is like, which is also human, right? She
Hmm.
was saying, oh, but how could he say no? And, all of
Yeah,
those things. मुझे तो लगा था कि है कुछ और ये मतलब ये कहाँ से आ गया नशा वाला पूरा angle. And even she herself is so broken,
yeah.
heartbroken, but
Hmm.
she still placates the mother. And she
Yeah,
tells her, no, कि अच्छा नहीं है कि उसने अभी बता दिया, लेस्ट आप मेरी शादी करा देते और फिर पता चलता.
right. Right. I love
हाँ,
the table scene. Like Banish
yeah,
as usual, right? Great
MVP.
energy. She
हाँ,
basically is that person for them, right? And how she kind of like teases her and get
yeah,
Burhan kind of like she gets Burhan on the side, like they are on one
yeah,
side, right? I
yeah.
love that
And
energy.
she imposes the fact that ये दोनों the couple है. She's like,
हाँ,
अब आप दोनों इन दोनों की तरह ना हो जाइएगा.
हाँ, exactly.
ये
She
तो
kind of
boring
puts
है.
them together. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Burhan is playing off of that. Like he's like, Nashwa didn't have so much to say in that scene,
Hmm.
but the way like she was
Her
like taking
reaction.
it all in and her reactions were just he asks के are you going to come to work today? और वो फिर बीनिश is like क्या मतलब आप लेके जाएं आप मतलब
हाँ, exactly.
all of that. And but even before, like I really liked when Burhan said, because Burhan knows that she's very possessive about the mother, right?
Yeah.
And he says के oh मेरी अम्मी की बनी हुई चाय
हाँ,
पीजिए.
हाँ, 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 हाँ.
हो गए तो ये मेरी अम्मी की हाथ की चाय पिए और बताएं कि कैसी बनी है।
अम्मी
चाय अच्छी लगी तो रोजाना यहीं पे आके चाय पीनी पड़ेगी आपको।
I really liked that chai wala
Scene.
scene.
Yeah.
Moving to the
And just
beginning of
before
the
we move
episode.
on, wait one second. Like Banish's character now, I think, is very like sometimes very important, right? Because she becomes that person who diffuses tension. Like
Yeah,
on the table, and then later when she goes, she's like, Dadi ko sideline. अरे दादी उसमें क्या है
हाँ,
जाएंगी ना like kind of
हाँ.
being an advocate.
Ask you like moving to the beginning of the episode, the shadi wala scene,
हाँ,
nikah wala scene. What did you think about that?
I mean, I think I was going to talk about like the Bakhtiar Builder's acting was really really strong,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
amazing acting. He didn't have a lot in these two episodes versus the last two episodes,
yeah,
but from the start of that nikah, the way he looks at Bismarck continuously, ekdam wo
yeah,
desire plus mix of like sadness plus there's this some mixed emotion
हाँ,
when he shows like he's sad that she is
yeah.
getting married he's angry he's like kind of so I thought he did a really good job just sitting there
And the
looking
way
at her
sitting there, हाँ.
convey emotions right like
And even the last bit where he sort of kind of goes into that little speech, that mini speech at the end. ये इस
yeah
घर के दरवाजे हमेशा तुम्हारे लिए खुले हैं. So what he's saying, is actually all good things. Okay,
but in
he's
a
making her feel,
undertone
but the way he's saying
yeah
it, it's
exactly
like it's giving everybody the creeps, right?
creeps
Like Nashwa is
exactly
looking like that, Faryal is kind of like
yeah
nobody's looking at that and saying, people who don't know him, like the guests, they're like, यार इनका कितना बड़ा दिल है. Like
exactly
look at like how they are behaving with the
Mm,
sister-in-law. वो उनकी बहू
mm,
थी और उसकी वो शादी करा रहे हैं, and which
mm,
is exactly what he wanted, right? He wanted
mm,
people to hear it and say कि
mm,
वाह. मतलब वो
mm.
कहते हैं ना कि क्या कहते हैं, सांप भी मर जाए और लाठी भी ना टूटे.
Yeah, correct. That's the
हाँ,
same.
exactly.
बहुत अच्छे.
Um, my only gripe with that scene was, I don't know why Burhan and Asim didn't wear salwar kameez.
Even I was thinking the same
Yeah,
thing. I was like, ये अम्मर कितना अच्छा लग रहा है.
yeah, in that
हाँ,
सोचो.
wow.
उसको इतनी अच्छी, like I really liked his
I really like his
like
clothes. Huh?
sherwani or whatever he was wearing with that embroidery on the
Yeah,
sleeve. I was
very
like,
nice.
wow, like I have to take
बहुत
notes on
अच्छा.
that.
Yeah.
But again, like Burhan का वो pinstripe suit, blue color का,
बहुत
like
अच्छा नहीं था यार.
बिल्कुल
And
नहीं अच्छा लगा.
it was really standing out. You know,
हाँ,
more than eyesore, more. It was not like कि अच्छा उसने white या cream या कुछ ऐसे
हाँ,
suit पहना है, या you know,
हाँ.
फादरों के white suit because white prince coat suit
But
same.
again, I didn't understand why father was wearing suit, right? Like it's a nikah. Nikah pe everybody wears shalwar kameez. So I thought maybe the father wala actor refused to wear shalwar kameez, and so they gave Burhan that attire as well, because and he has worn shalwar kameez before to Benish's shadi, and he looked so nice. So I was just like, I have missed opportunity.
Yeah,
Like
उसको अच्छा
imagine
दिखाएगा यार.
exactly, and imagine अगर वो नशवा वाला पूरा scene in the on the balcony on the terrace होता with him in the shalwar kameez.
बहुत
Like,
अच्छे दिखते हैं.
like exactly, right? Like थोड़ा सा, not that it didn't that it wasn't a beautifully framed scene. Like I just loved how even with that basic terrace, it looked like,
Yeah, it was like a garden and you're in the middle of a
हाँ,
garden. It felt like that, you know.
हाँ,
Like, it's
हाँ,
a very nice scene where she's like, you know, why do you know everything about me? Why are you so
yeah,
concerned? And he's
हाँ,
like, he उसके मुंह पे है, you know. And he
हाँ,
said, also, I
हाँ,
missed you over there.
yeah,
He says, I missed you. He didn't say we
yeah,
missed you. Huh?
हाँ सब लोग थे लेकिन तुम नहीं थे. तो तुम्हारी कमी महसूस कर रहा था. I was missing you.
तो
हाँ,
बोला, and he can see that she's also now different. उसको तो दिख रहा है कि उसके expressions change हो रही है, उसका reaction
हाँ,
बदल रहा है. You know,
हाँ,
she's grimacing. She's like cringing at certain things,
yeah,
which she
हाँ.
was not doing before.
He immediately did. He's like,
Mm.
I know that these tears, like you're not happy,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
meant to be like, this was your puri
This
zindagi ka
was your
goal.
moment. This was your
Yeah,
moment. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So what is wrong? Then I thought like that was such a cute, like lovely moment where he moves forward to like wipe her tear, and then he takes her hand or
And
her
that vibes it. Yeah,
but
yeah,
Burhan, like in that scene, he has basically, right, confessed in a way,
yeah.
like अभी से ज़्यादा वो बोल सकता है. I don't get me wrong, और
Both.
भी बोल सकता है.
Yeah, but I mean, but see the contrast, right? If you remember previous episodes,
हाँ,
she did let him wipe
she
her
did.
tears, and
She
now
did.
she didn't. She just kind of backed off,
Yeah,
right?
she
So I
did.
think there is. I don't.
Yeah,
Please. I mean, it's
yeah,
okay if she's doing this because she's promised that she's going to marry, but not
yeah.
actually married. अरे
I
मैं
think she is married. I
नहीं
think like
मैं
all the telltale signs are
नहीं
there.
नहीं, ये तो फिर रिग्रेसिव मुझे लग रहा है ये.
देखो, just
मुझे
before we
ऐसे
talk
लग
about
रहा है कि अगर देख, I yeah, like I want her to be that person who can trick the family and not deal with this जबरदस्ती. So उसने
हाँ,
अगर निकाह पढ़ लिया, then I'm like a bit upset. If she's done something where she's like nikah is yet to come, is different.
hmm.
So वो, I don't know. I just find it very.
I sad as I am to say this, but I think निकाह पढ़ लिया उसने, निकाह हो गया दोनों का, and I think Bakhtiar might have said that as the precondition, because he also probably knows, right, कि अगर मैं बात के लिए छोड़ूंगा तो she will
नहीं
not,
होगी, नहीं
she
होगी.
will try, and like, because फिर क्या वही बात है ना, फिर क्या
But then
like
what is the guarantee? No, but once again, if I was Nashwa, I would be like, अगर मैं निकाह पढ़ लिया, तो guarantee क्या
हाँ,
है कि तुम मेरी माँ का निकाह पढ़ाओगे? मैं तो
वो
फंस
then हाँ, then no, but I think वही बात थी ना कि when he said कि you will stay true to your word, right? वो जो
गया.
graveyard वाला वो scene होता है, कब्रिस्तान
हाँ,
वाला,
हाँ,
and he
हाँ,
says, and you will stay true to your word as well, and she says, yes, I will, because
हाँ.
मेरे में भी वही खून है. So I think they took each other's word for the thing कि you do this, and Nashwa took his word कि okay, if I am doing this much, then
हम्म.
he will get my mother married. And this is why she says कि फिर एक और शर्त भी है कि you will do it in a proper way. You won't like
Cut
um,
corners.
exactly cut corners. You'll do it in a proper way. because the moment like she lets the mother go, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like Nashwa 2.0.
No, but you see, right? Like even maybe because something this Bakhtiar has told the Dadi, right? That he told her what happened, and but her reaction was not. See, if you see when Dadi's sitting and burning the nikah ke papers, right?
I
And
know.
there was no real reaction. Like in a
I
sense,
agree.
the Dadi didn't see relief, nor did she see like triumph. There was nothing on her face. So I felt like maybe the stake was not that high. Like I feel it must be something not as much कि उसने अम्मार के साथ निकाह पढ़ लिया, because that would have visibly
given
shown a
something away.
reaction. Like I feel it would have been something less. Almost I feel it's something to do with the case or something, because then Dadi also lets her go to the office.
To work.
Go to work.
I looked at exactly, I noticed the exact same thing as you as well. Okay, they muted the conversation, so we couldn't tell Bakhtiar bol kya raha hai. But yes, the Dadi's expression doesn't change at all, right?
Yeah.
Like kuch bhi nahi, na gussa, na surprise, na anything.
Yeah.
But मुझे ये लगा कि and my hunch is कि you know when he says कि हम जाएंगे बिस्मा के यहाँ,
हाँ
I think
वही
he's going to go
tell.
and give the news कि इस
Correct.
तरह ये हो गया है. And I thought about like why they didn't show a reaction from the Dadi.
Yeah.
But I think that is so that they don't give it away. Like I thought, which is kind of like it doesn't go with like the rest of the things. The Dadi is not somebody who will not react. अब बेहतर होता कि वो दादी का फेस दिखाते ही ना फिर उस रिएक्शन में,
Right.
सिर्फ
Right.
बख्तियार का दिखाते या दादी की बैक दिखा देते हमें बंदे से कि हम उसके घर जाएंगे बताने के लिए. And I think at that point, because also if you think about it, like the way like I just like when that Ammar scene happened shuru mein, after that I couldn't see the rest of the scenes through any other lens.
Which Ammar scene happened शुरू में?
Not shuru mein, but like जब the next
उसके
morning.
रूम में जाता है.
हाँ जब उसके रूम में जाता है and the way he talks to her and the way he says कि खेल अब तो शुरू हुआ है मजा आएगा whatever. Like that for me immediately, because see from Bakhtiar's point of view this makes sense कि आप ये कर लो, this is the only way to lock it in. वरना as we were saying कि what incentive does Nashwa have to carry through with this, right? To carry through with like anything after this, because she can literally take her like I don't know ID card, passport if she has one, and move next door.
Yeah.
And I know कि शुरू में like people were commenting as well to say कि oh भाई Bakhtiar बड़ा dangerous है and this and that, but come on, like Burhan is also like a known lawyer. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो बिल्कुल ही so it wasn't like a physical threat, but the only way. And also now like Nashwa like I do think कि ये हो गया है.
मेरे लिए तो ये बहुत sad है, लेकिन ठीक है, maybe they use this and the story goes in a different direction, I don't know, but I just want something where she's not stuck in this and I don't want to see Ammar turning over a new leaf. I don't care. वो भी बहुत regressive है कि ना अभी ये आएगी उसको सुधारेगी और वो बहुत अच्छा बन जाएगा. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होता है.
ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होता exactly. And उसका खून ही वैसा है, like उसको इतना सा chance मिला है and the way he's like bullying her around and treating her already. So I don't think Ammar is going to.
It's not her job to make him
exactly
a person. Like
exactly वो माँ नहीं कर सकी, बहन नहीं कर सकी, सब लोग नहीं कर सके, तो ये
नहीं
नशवा
है, ये ऐसे नहीं करना
करेगी.
चाहिए, right? And I'm going to be very upset, but ठीक है, story है.
I would like, yes, it's not my favorite way to like of like moving the story forward. The only thing I now want is that Burhan and Nashwa are still somehow endgame. I don't know how it would be, but I would still want them to be end game. One thing I actually, sorry, like this is a little bit off of this topic. But one thing I didn't understand, and tell me if you also felt the same way.
Hmm.
You know when Asim says to the mother, right? Asim says to Bisma, "Okay, yeah, Bisma overhears ke Burhan likes Nashwa." Like Bisma's reaction is कि नहीं ये सही नहीं है. मतलब come on, like this is like Bisma doesn't know ना कि Ammar और Nashwa का निकाह हो गया and all that, right? If she's seeing कि like a good guy like Burhan likes Nashwa, ठीक है? बिस्मा की अपनी शादी हो गई है, she's out of that family. Why is her reaction कि ये सही नहीं है? You know, why is it that she's so against the idea of Burhan and Nashwa together? Because that's the easiest, simplest, quickest way. Like she was saying to Nashwa before कि मुझे नहीं परवाह, तुम्हें कोई 2 कमरों के क्वार्टर में भी रख ले तो मुझे यहाँ से चली जाओ, ठीक है? अब 2 कमरों के क्वार्टर में नहीं, she can like Nashwa can be with Bisma, with Asim, with Bijan, with Burhan. इससे ज़्यादा perfect क्या हो सकता है?
I think because I think there are two things, right? One, so she says that Qudsiya is going to be very upset that usne na bol diya. One thing is that.
Okay.
And the second thing, she knows that the Dadi is never going to let this happen. So it's almost like she knows that, see, if anyone, किसी और का रिश्ता आता, तो Dadi would not be that hung on कि नहीं, you know, नहीं करते. But with this family, she knows that for her, it was already a battle, right? And this only happened because of whatever. She knows that it's one side, the to convince Dadi is going to be not easy because of they hate Asim, they hate the whole family. So then to get Burhan to marry Nashwa is going to be not easy. So it's not that she's saying that's not a good idea. She knows that this is not something that is going to be like, acha, pasand aage ho jayegi shaadi.
But dekho, from my point of view, Bisma and Asim getting married was the more difficult thing to get through. ठीक है? Through Dadi. For her, like, you know, it's like a double ego hit.
Now it's even worse.
But and the reason that they showed us that Bisma agreed to this shadi was when Nashwa said to her, you get married to Asim, he will be my legal guardian, and then you can rescue me. ठीक है? So I didn't understand like then why Bisma is reacting that way. Matlab she was happy.
I don't think it's really something that she even thought of. It was not on top of her mind, probably. Like in terms of like, ye hoga, and you know, But that scene, I mean, that scene in the bedroom between them was not what I would have expected. I would have expected a bit more open conversation and be like, acha, you know, like I'm very worried about Nashwa, something which is more like between a husband and wife or someone you are using as a confidant. So yeah, that left me wanting for more.
Actually, Asim is the one who steps in and says, "के you know, अब नशवा मेरी भी responsibility है और अब हम दोनों decide करेंगे." You know, like she would say, I understand that it's not, and also it's not like Qudsiya has done her some huge favor, right? It's not like Qudsiya got her married to Asim. It was Nashwa, frankly. So it's not like, you know, she says, I understand that Qudsiya is really upset about this, but you know, Burhan is such a nice boy that actually इससे बेहतर क्या हो सकता है कि नशवा की उससे शादी हो जाए. But I don't think के दादी will you know, will agree. Okay, you know, वो नहीं मानेंगी, बहुत problem होगा. Something along those lines.
Like that conversation, as I told you, that conversation with the couple didn't feel open. But now that we're on the couple, I really like the fact that in this show, they show a mature marriage and a mature love, right? Normally, you don't see parents being in love or seeing older couples getting married, and not just Pakistani, like even in Indian television, it's not common. So I like the fact that they show that, you know, even whatever, I'm assuming she's 45, 50-ish.
45 they said, na? 45.
They are still like, you know, they show that, you know, love, and they show that marriage, and they show that romance. बहुत अच्छा था, and they showed it very well, very tastefully.
I wish more people were open to this.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
think it's nice to see that, it doesn't matter whether you're a married woman with a child or whatever. You can still find love, and you can still
yeah,
find safety,
huh,
safe space between someone who actually cares.
yeah,
तो वो अच्छा था वो the whole scene, all the scenes between them.
huh,
Uh, and वो शादी के बाद romance, वो शायरी बोलता है. No, it's very nice.
huh,
I
very
did
sweet.
feel till she didn't tell Burhan to find Nashwa. I was like, अरे, no one's noticing कि Nashwa है नहीं, but I could see her
Huh,
eyes searching for
yeah,
Nashwa and be like, Nashwa कहाँ है.
huh.
Um,
वो अच्छा था
so
Burhan goes and he's like everybody
मैं
was going but I was missing I was चल लो ना उसने
हाँ,
बोला है
वही
जाके ढूंढ के लाओ उसको
exactly
वहां पे जाके he's like
exactly
मैं
yeah
you know
exactly so
so
yeah I mean
yeah
क्या
very very sweet I like the the last thing I'll say about two things actually about Burhan and Nashwa. One, I thought like there was that parallel between Burhan and Nashwa, and the actor Usama Khan also like shared this on his Twitter.
hmm.
He basically said that imagine he put a screenshot like of the scene between Burhan and Nashwa on the terrace, and he says imagine Bisma and
Asim.
Asim 30 years ago,
Mm-mm.
having similar conversations.
Right.
But again, I think they're going to show that Nashwa is not Bisma and she will, take a stand for herself and all that. And in the last scene between Burhan and Nashwa, where he goes and, he's like, आज मैंने
Abro
बात की है
is
फरयाल से शादी के बारे में and she said अच्छा तो कब कर रहे हैं फिर शादी whatever like and he's like yeah she's like नहीं कर रहा and
yeah,
बेचारी she has a flicker of like
happiness. Yeah.
happiness but then she's just like okay I
Yeah,
can't do
and
this
he goes with so much like hope, right? He's like, I mean,
yeah
now if I tell her this, then she'll be
oh
floored, right?
तो फिर कब हो रही है आपकी शादी उनसे?
नहीं हो रही.
And she
yeah
just gets up and goes, and he's just like, he doesn't know what to do.
yeah
He also doesn't know what to do. And I mean, I must say, like Yumna's acting, like the
huh
like the expressions, in the sense that without expressing, the way she expressed with her eyes, like sadness, happiness, content, jo bhi hai, is
huh
just brilliant. She's an
it
amazing
is
actor.
yeah
She's
the
amazing.
the other thing I didn't get was like भाई बंदे ने आके आपको कितना कुछ बोला उसने बोला मैं
Mm,
तुम्हारे बारे में सब कुछ नोट करता हूँ तुम्हारी आंखें पढ़ता हूँ I was missing you he
mm.
like even like did that whole like trope वो जो
Yeah.
होता है कि जो हल्की ऊंची आवाज में फिर ऐसा आवाज में
हाँ,
and
हाँ.
oh like हम सब कह रहे हैं यार बुरहान is so floored by her and she's just like तो फिर कब कर रहे हैं फिर यार तो शादी like dude चाय वाली टेबल पे वो तुम्हें मतलब कह रहे तुम हर रोज इधर आओ इधर ही आके रह जाओ मैं
Hmm,
तुम्हें हर रोज लेके जाता हूँ काम पे साथ
correct,
एंड देन शी इज
exactly.
लाइक तो फिर आप तो फरियाद है ना साथ पे
Hmm. बेचारी वो करे भी क्या ऐसी
एग्जैक्टली
सी- Okay,
वेरी
I
सैड
mean, I can talk about Qarz-e-Jaan for 2 hours.
I know but I think now we should move on to
Yeah.
the last drama for today Meem Se Mohabbat
Yes, yes. I'm trying to now recap in my head क्या हुआ था. नहीं. So, good episodes. I like both the episodes. So, पहला था post engagement, right? Like I'm just trying
हाँ
to post
Ella
engagement.
Wala was post engagement where she has that breakdown. Um, and like as much as I hate that Shari character, the actor is doing a good job of making us hate him, right?
Yeah, looking weird.
Ezra, he's so like yuck and sleazy and like yeah,
Yeah.
he's just
Because the thing is now they've associated us with him that way. So even when he smiles, now you feel like chee,
oh,
no?
I know.
Not, that way. But I feel like is pure. I mean, I think you've made this point before. Like I think Dananeer, like her name just doesn't roll. Dananeer, she did a good job, like of both the episodes, right? In the beginning, obviously, she was sick and she was so stressed, and she's trying to show a brave front to him. Ke, tum dekhna, I'm gonna like get out of the situation. And she's the person who takes action, right? At least action sensibly. And then in the next episode, when he comes and that what's his name, Ahad's character Talha
Hmm.
comes to the campus, and then she just like, whatever, man, like you're just making
Hmm.
stuff up so I don't get mad. Like, I think she acted really well, like she held the screen. But that family, like, I just don't understand. Like, she's missing the whole evening. The bride is fallen sick. You don't even go and check in the evening kya ho raha hai, kya
They
nahi ho
speak
raha
about it the next day. कि हाँ रोशनी ने तो कल रात को भी खाना नहीं खाया था like भाई
And the
कल
sister
रात का
is
खाना
not
कल
like,
रात को पूछना था ना
मैं जाके बैठती हूँ उसके पास. The sister knows that she had some past anguish and she looked upset. वो भी ऐसे नहीं कि क्या हुआ, you're upset, what is going on, like you want to talk, nothing.
and
कुछ
you know
भी
the weirdest thing about the sister वाली चीज ठीक है the sister knew Sharik's name ठीक है
no,
sister
she
from the
never told.
office she knew Sharik's name and then she also said कि अच्छा अच्छा वो Sharik and even when that Roshi thing happens with Sharik before
हाँ
she's like
हाँ
oh वो
हाँ
Sharik तो तुम्हें पसंद था
हाँ
so
हाँ.
and Sharik in all honesty Pakistan में this is the only person like Sharik के नाम से that I've ever come across right
Oh really?
oh, yeah so it's not like Asad or Usama or like Ali that everybody has this name and चलो ठीक है शुरू में जब रिश्ता वगैरह आया तो ठीक है अरसलान उसका नाम बोला but now the whole family is calling him Sharik Arsalan there is like no like this
I think that is a bit overreaching. It's
हाँ
overreaching कि उसका light bulb छपके. I
हाँ
think that is a bit.
उनसे बेसिक्स नहीं हो रहे तो ये तो बड़ी
हाँ नहीं,
complicated
मुझे भी नहीं छपके यार. लाइक अभी कहाँ
हाँ
से रिश्ता आया है, वो था कोई और,
हाँ
लाइक कोई भी हो सकता है, राइट? लाइक ऐसे
हाँ
नहीं है. um it's not, I wouldn't take that into
हाँ
consideration, but I just felt like they all just kind of didn't really figure out that she went off. And बाद में सोफे पर बैठे हैं, सब बात कर रहे हैं रात को कि ये बहुत अच्छा था, ये बहुत अच्छा. No one's like, अच्छा रोशी को जाके देखो कोई. Not one person made that
हम्म
comment, which was a bit weird. And then next day 5 लोग खड़े हैं क्योंकि उसको बुखार है. So it just
हम्म
feels, the whole situation feels a bit like weird कि वो लोग थोड़ा टेम्पर
या
नहीं
तो
कर
कुछ
रहे.
भी नहीं करते क्या
Yeah,
या
वही.
overkill I
हाँ
think the Dada in that scene does realize that she's not feeling 100%.
हाँ, बट जाओ
Uh,
ना, पूछो, कुछ तो बोलो.
हाँ,
Like,
हाँ.
I just
And
felt
he
that.
does. He does go to her and ask her, okay, are you okay? And she says, yes, I'm okay. Like that he does. But I mean, वही बात है कि somebody has to take a stand. Like, you know that this girl has taken a stand in the past.
Hmm.
तो उनको तो नहीं पता ना फैमिली को तो नहीं पता कि वो तलहा वाली सिचुएशन हुई है और
Hmm.
शारिक वाली सिचुएशन हुई है एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट उनको तो बस ये नजर आया कि उनकी एक लाइक सुपर हाइपर केयरलेस बच्ची थी जो
Hmm.
एकदम से थोड़ी सी केयरफुल हो गई सीरियस हो गई अबाउट वर्क एंड एवरीथिंग एंड नाउ सडनली लाइक शी इज लाइक दिस सुपर सीरियस child or like person who like doesn't have any like even generally like she doesn't have any like she's not laughing she's not
Yeah.
joking with anybody all of that so I feel like as the family who doesn't know the context as audience we know but
Hmm.
as family they should be even more concerned ना
Yeah,
कि मतलब ये
exactly.
हुआ क्या है एकदम से
Yeah.
there's been no conversation between the mother and the sister for example to
Hmm.
say कि मुझसे तो she's not that close but तुम्हारे से close है तुम मुझसे पूछो is everything okay
Hmm.
yeah there has actually even offline भी कोई ऐसी उनकी आपस में conversation नहीं हुई
Yeah.
which is what worries me about the family dynamic that they have shown कि ठीक
Hmm.
है on the face of it it's a family that पूरा घर भरा हुआ है दादी दादा all relationships सारे हैं and on the other side we see the three boys, right? Ahad's father, Abid uncle, Talha, and Mohit.
Hmm.
But even in that family, हालांकि वो सब लोग नहीं है, but they're so intuitive to each other's feelings.
Hmm.
Okay, why did you say that? Why do you look like this? You are not yourself today. Are you sure? Like, they're always making sure that each other is okay. Compared to this full house, jahan pe,
Probably that's the point, right? Okay, I don't know. I just feel that whole thing was either they're directing it or writing it that way so that the shadi happens, right? So that they're trying to be a bit like make them oblivious to the fact, which
वो
is
भी
also
chilled
not
out तरीके से कर देंगे. Just be like, oh नहीं यार, ठीक है, इससे कर लो.
पता नहीं वो, लेकिन my point is I just feel that was a bit I felt a bit like lacking कि ये ऐसे दिखाना नहीं चाहिए था. Then obviously the whole Talha scene in the restaurant with Roshi when she goes to eat. He's obviously seen now Sharik, but I felt like her expression in that whole situation with Sharik, not once she smiles, not once she's like laughing or anything. She's very this. So I think Tala should even clock on to that, right? That she doesn't look like she wants to get married
Yeah.
to him. So when he calls her to talk to her, he should have brought it up that I know you're doing this because of something. So you need to tell me what it is. Or, something like that. More than ke tu mujhse shaadi mat karo.
I think I get that. But I think he is thinking now. Talha is thinking in his mind that she's just doing it out of angst,
Yeah, which
because
he tells her. Which he
yeah.
tells her
And
later.
there is, I thought there was a parallel as well between the two. Okay, when he starts talking to Sabhika,
Hmm.
who, has not been good to him, she confronts him. And वो काफी दफा बोलती है कि आप उस सेल्फिश लड़की से क्यों शादी कर रहे हो, क्यों उससे बात कर रहे हो, उसको क्यों आने दे रहे हो ऑफिस.
Mm-hmm.
She hates Mohit doesn't like her, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Ahad like draws that boundary.
Hmm.
He's like, stay out of my life.
Hmm.
And he's like in that beat scene as well, like, he's like, एक दफा कह रहा हूँ, बाद में नहीं कहूंगा, stay out of my life, it's none of your concern.
Stay out of my personal life.
All of that stuff. So I
Hmm.
feel like they're doing that parallel now where
Of
he's
course.
kind of
Yeah, yeah,
saying to her, and he's so guilt-ridden and so like, अपने ही वो darkness में इतना वो फंसा हुआ है कि he's thinking that she's doing it
because
because
of
of him.
him.
Because
Yeah.
of him. He's not even clocking the fact that he did clock on to the fact that she's not happy about it.
Hmm.
And it was nice, it was really sweet the way like she opens up to Mohit. And shuru mein, I was like, bachche pe kyun? Like, why is she
Yeah,
burdening the
I
child?
was also thinking of the same thing that why would you cry? You can always use the child to talk and say, okay, I was feeling a bit low and bored, and let's,
Haan.
this. But this is for a child who's already suffering trauma, okay? Who is
Haan.
already has own trauma. That I didn't understand. Why would you call a child and cry?
लेकिन मैं अकेली हो गई हूँ.
To the
Haan.
child,
Yeah, I mean, I thought like she would have maybe done that with her friend or with somebody else. But I think she just wanted somebody who, like, I don't know. I think एक तो उनको हमें दिखाना था कि he overhears it,
Yeah,
obviously. And that she is actually like she's putting up a strong face in front of her, but she's so vulnerable and broken herself. But otherwise, I thought like, okay, maybe they have, like you said, yeah, remember like in a few episodes ago, maybe when we were doing like the roundup of the episodes so far type thing, you said, okay, suddenly she has no friends. She has no social circle. She
She
has
has only
nobody.
one friend who has a brother who is in some
FIA wala.
side.
So I thought like that was, like I liked the scene, but I did think that she was burdening, Mohit with something that maybe was not,
Yeah.
his burden to bear. But Mohit ne bhi aage se like relaxed these मतलब he's like don't cry Rosh, like it's fine. बेचारे वो तो उसके उस पे लगा ना हिट तो उसको किया
Yeah,
तलहा
but
को किया.
I mean, you could make one argument that she just wanted to speak to someone who is associated with Tala. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
that's the thing,
yeah.
why
And
you
somebody who wouldn't talk back, like, somebody who wouldn't like then give her extra gyan and stuff. She just
हाँ,
wanted like a
मेरा
one-way
बच्चा है ना,
conversation.
वो बच्चा है, ऐसे नहीं, this was not
हाँ.
making sense. And then obviously the scene in the college where
हाँ
Talha suddenly decides to, in the middle of a public place,
yeah
tell her how he really feels about her.
yeah
And I mean, also, अच्छा तुम्हें बोलना था तो ऐसे तो मत बोलो कि I like you, but I still तुम. That's why I wanted to whatever. Like
yeah
I just felt like that confession could have been a bit more like in a more different setting and where he
I
could have
don't
said more.
the thing is I don't think he went there with the intention of confessing.
I know,
It
I
was
know.
more out of frustration कि यार like she's so what is wrong with her.
चाहते हुए भी तुम्हें अपना नहीं सकता मोहब्बत करता हूँ तुमसे
No, I
Kind of
understand
that
that. I wished because this was important.
yes
It was an important point in time, right? Where he
yeah
accepts his feelings and also because when you say it, you're accepting it, right?
yeah
So
yeah
it just felt like it was brushed over, not brushed over, but it just happened very ऐसे पासिंग में या कुछ मे बी उसको बोलता कि मैं तुम्हारे कॉलेज में हूँ प्लीज कम एंड
हाँ
the parking come to the car
like in the
कार
car
पे
or
बैठ
something
के बोलते तो it would have felt more intimate and a bit more like I don't know I just
like the
felt
execution of the scene yeah okay
हाँ,
I agree with that okay maybe like the setting or situation because फिर वही होता है ना उसके साथ कि she walks off and he sits back on the bench in the background you can see he sits back on the bench and then I think 30 seconds later he's just like okay I need to go
हाँ,
like
तो
she's not going to
अजीब
agree
हाँ,
because of this
yeah
I really like I enjoyed that confession bit ignoring the setting and all of that.
हम्म,
I also really enjoyed Talha's realization in these two episodes of how much he actually cares for and loves Roshi.
हम्म,
And interestingly, like all the flashback scenes that they were showing
हम्म,
for Roshi, um, in the past, whenever Talha has had a flashback with Roshi, it has been with something to do with Mohit you
हम्म,
know, whether, how she's caring for Mohit or any of these. Like, this was the first time that I saw him having independently of Mohit flashbacks of Roshi. Like, just like their
okay
conversations or their moments. So I think
हम्म,
like he also has that realization that
हम्म,
now that he does love her
हम्म.
um outside of the equation with Mohit as well. But
I didn't
again, I
notice
think
that I didn't
yeah.
notice that
And then like it's just you know I mean I've said this before as well but like um the script doesn't necessarily support Ahad and Dananeer's acting but their acting in the show is really top notch. I mean I wish they had a stronger surrounding story which doesn't distract us from their performances and
हम्म,
what their equation is आपस में
हम्म,
um but but वही बात है कि we can love or we can really enjoy Talha and Roshi together on screen
हम्म,
but
हम्म,
at the same time हमारा जो viewing experience होता है
हम्म.
वो थोड़ा सा affect होता है when we see the family behaving in a certain way or the neighbors again
I fast forwarded that whole section.
yeah
But tell me one thing, like, I think see these two episodes were good. You were not like so overly bored, or you were not like, "Acha, ye kyun I can
हाँ
really skip them."
हाँ नहीं अच्छी थी I did obsess over them after watching them also I did
Okay, but
yeah
you feel like I feel I don't know what it is about the show. Like some parts are good, some parts are interesting, but overall, I'm finding it's average. I'm not finding it like very good, where it keeps me hooked. Like, and even though they're acting well, like the Ranir is acting really well, and Ahad is doing a good job, but I don't find that chemistry. At least I don't know what you think,
hmm
but I'm not seeing that chemistry between them, or I don't feel like, okay, you feel like these two need to be together, need
hmm
to be together. Like, take Qarz-e-Jaan, for example. You want them together, you can feel
hmm
both of them want to be with each other and together.
hmm
in the same way other shows that maybe you're not watching or you watched in the past, right? There's a natural chemistry between the two. Here, it's not feeling. I feel there's I don't see it, but maybe other
Hmm.
viewers can see it and they
Yeah.
feel it, but I don't see that
I,
chemistry.
I do see it, in all honesty. I do see it.
Hmm.
And I am very invested in, like, I was very happy that he confessed and all of that. And I am very invested in the fact that I do want Talha and Roshi now to end up together. And I
Okay.
want to see how that will happen, how the shadi will happen. And,
Mm.
I know, like, thoda shadi ke baad angst hoga, all of that. Like, I'm really looking forward to that
Mm-hmm.
whole scenario
Mm-hmm.
and situation.
Mm.
So for me, like, I do really enjoy Talha and Roshi's love story.
Okay. Okay.
But I wouldn't say that the drama is as strong as a Qarz-e-Jaan, because I
Mm.
think वो बात भी होती है कि when these actors are picking up scripts, right? एक तो फरहत इश्तियाक का script है.
Mm.
So you
This means
and then हाँ.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
फरहत इश्तियाक, so like यकीन का सफर,
Yeah, yeah,
कभी मैं कभी तुम, like, so all of, Humsafar.
yeah. Mm.
So it's her script. So when you look at a script from her,
Mm.
for an actor, you would obviously say, and you look at your own role, and your own role is a good role, right?
Mm.
Dono ka role is meaty, like they have arcs, they have backstory, they have room to perform, all of
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Um, so I think like that main the core story I really enjoy, I'm invested in, and I think is a good story.
yeah. Mm.
But I think या तो शायद ये थोड़ा जल्दी में लिखा गया है, या it's the surrounding stories do
Hmm.
not for me support the core story.
Yeah,
Um,
there's something like not right, I feel. And I don't know
uh,
whether it is obviously having that extra neighbor story or the family dynamics or just the treatment. I think the overall treatment,
treatment,
ये
yeah.
शायद lighting better हो सकती थी, you know, kapde, everything little, I think the
हाँ,
framing, um, small things like that really
हाँ,
lift a story, right? And I feel
yeah.
here those are the small things which are a bit out of place, which is not making
Hmm,
that chemistry work, or at least not for
yeah.
me. I'm
हाँ,
not saying it's not there. I'm just saying I don't. I'm not saying I'm not invested. I'm invested in the story. I want to know what happens in this and that. But I think that I don't feel that angst and pain and like that longing that they
hmm,
have for each other despite them being like angry or one being not interested, that hot and cold. I don't feel that as much as I have felt in
hmm,
other shows with other
yeah.
couples. I don't know
Other
if it's
couples, हाँ.
actors or it's the
हाँ,
writing or it's the directing. Where is it
yeah.
going off?
I think there are two things at play. One, that Meem Se Mohabbat, like so we are watching Faraar, Qarz-e-Jaan, and Meem Se Mohabbat, right? The other two shows are so tight. अब जो general content quality है, that is so high
काफी high है,
that
हाँ,
that
वही,
if this show had come out, maybe like 18 months ago, when average everything else was like, Saas Bahu and da 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 da, you would have been like, ah, what a refreshing story, right? But
maybe,
right
yeah.
now the bar is so high for each story to
That's
be saying something, to have like, like super like a Burhan or Nashwa angle or something of that sort. कि
It
मतलब,
doesn't have to
no,
be,
हाँ,
it
not even
must
like,
be that
exactly.
dramatic. I think it's just
हाँ,
the interactions between the two. Like
हाँ,
I'm seeing also Dilwali Gali Mein, right? It's not
हाँ,
topic based. It's very light. It's like very
हाँ,
small things every episode, right?
हाँ,
Nothing is like building up or falling
हाँ,
down. But the chemistry there is so good between the couple. And there they don't
हाँ,
even have any like उनकी तो शादी हो गई उसमें like first
हाँ,
episode में. तो ऐसे नहीं कि they are like pining for each other, but it's just
हाँ,
you can feel that अच्छा ये couple है and then we want them to win and we want them to have a
हम्म,
life and you want
हाँ,
stuff for them. Here
हाँ,
it's like you want more for Mohit and Dananeer than you want for, I feel,
हाँ,
it's almost, I don't know
हाँ,
where it's lacking. That's what I
हाँ.
said. I
अच्छा,
don't know where it's lacking.
I still like the couple and the chemistry, but what would have done better for the show and for the storytelling would
Mm.
have been if it were like, only like say 14, 15 episodes, and
Huh,
just show us this love story,
correct.
right?
thoda.
Don't show us like, you know, how the sister got married to the cousin, how the puppy is, you know, not treating the puppa, how, you know, don't give us all of that. Give us these two, chalo theek hai, add Sharik ka angle, add Sabika ka angle, but don't give us like that whole jhamela. Keep it
Yeah,
tight, you know,
yeah,
keep us like on our toes with the story.
yeah, yeah.
I think it's like similar to what we said the other day about Faraar, because Beach mein, you know, there like some tracks were so intense, and then some tracks were just like, okay, whatever, right? But there was a time in the middle where we had that comment. So similarly in these, like I love the scenes between Talha and Roshi, right? Like I'm like, okay, I like watch them twice, I'll watch them thrice, all of that. But then the other scenes are just like, okay, ठीक है. Okay, like, you know, tables ka scene hai, fast forward kar do. Family ka scene hai, okay, family's not really adding anything. Like, no need to focus, no need to pay attention, वैसे. But I am looking forward to what happens next. So let's see.
Yeah, I mean, in terms, I think what you said is absolutely, I think, right. I think the supporting characters are not adding value. That's why, you know, I think the two main characters, the father, the brother, the nephew,
हाँ,
the Sabika and Sharik, and that office, and this, I think that would have been an enough storyline, right? With the
exactly.
parents or the fray of coming in, coming out, whatever. But everything else feels either distraction or it's kind of diluting the plot to an
Yeah.
extent where you're almost like, "Kyare, abhi," yeah, I think that's bringing it down. And then obviously little things to that. So probably they tried to make a longer TV show and they had to just add things, but it's just not, yeah, nothing. Like
हाँ,
if you, even if you think about like Hamsafar, if you take her own scripts, right? If I take Hamsafar, if I take Yakin Ka Safar, oh, same Safar,
yeah.
Kabhi Main, Kabhi Tum. They were, every story in that was connected to each other, right? There was no like they never showed us Mustafa's sister's house, just what
हाँ,
they're doing in their house.
हाँ.
There's no connection to
Just for fun, you know, ऐसे ही,
just for fun.
हाँ.
तो वो नहीं हुआ था. So I think that is, it's a good point, right? It's a good point. I think that is kind of creating this unnecessary. They made this like a Ramzan drama. You know,
Yeah.
everything is happening everywhere, and you
हाँ,
have to like just be like, ठीक है. But this is
हाँ.
not that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, but let's see. On that note, I think you've spoken a lot today.
Yeah.
But and yeah, so you know, thank you for watching. Let us know what you are thinking about Qarz-e-Jaan and Faraar and Meem Se Mohabbat.
And yeah, thank
Um,
you everyone and have a lovely week.
Take care. We'll see you next week. Bye.